Hello, Rasa.
How are you?
I am doing great. It's great to be with you.
You too. Are you ready to know everything?
I'm ready to know everything.
Okay, let's do it. Today, I'm going to teach you about something that isn't particularly serious, and it might not help you that much, but it's just fun to do.
I'm smiling already.
Making forts.
Making forts.
Now, previously, you might not have been the biggest supporter of forts because...
I do think of them as just a way to explode my own couch.
Yes, I'll be making a fort with my friend, and you come down and you go, "What are you doing? Those are my clean sheets."
Yes, you have all the pillows on the couch taken off. You have all the sheets on the beds ripped off. And you have all the books pulled off the bookshelf to tie everything down like tent stakes.
Exactly.
But there's an upside, I hear. What is the upside?
Well, something I'm sure you did when you were a kid was make forts.
I probably indulged in it myself, yes.
But the thing is, nowadays, most grown-ups aren't just going to go crawling into a fort, so they've forgotten what it's like, and they just see it as this big mess with all the tornado in their living room. Ugh!
You have accurately described how I feel inside and outside.
But it's so wonderful inside a fort. It's so fun to make the fort. Imagine, you get to choose the design of it. It's making your own room. You can put sheets as walls in between them. You can stretch them out, blankets and blankets, depending on how many you put on and the thickness of them. It can be dark or light.
I also remember a cozy feeling inside where I'm maybe holding a flashlight, I'm reading a comic book. The darkness, the impracticality is part of the fun. Is that still true?
Yeah, that's the other part of it. Not only do you get to design an amazing house, you get to be inside there. You get to be in your own cave, your own fortress, your own castle. And there you can read and watch movies and play with your cat or whisper with a friend. Or even, I've had an awesome sleepover where after watching 5 movies and reading 10 different books, we fell asleep in the fort.
One question before I approve all forts forever in my heart and in my policy of our house.
Okay, what is it?
Who is going to clean up? And when are they going to get cleaned up? Because you always say after you have this great day, you have this great night, then you're tired, you're cranky, and I say it's time to clean up. And you go, no, let me just keep it up one more day. Meanwhile, those of us outside the fort are struggling because we can't sit on our own couch. We can't read our books. Sometimes we can't even lie on our own beds because everything's been taken and we're the ones who have to put it away. So make the case for having a fort and also having some responsibility.
I will clean it up, and that's not always true. Last time, I did clean up my fort. And while your books might not have been in exactly the alphabetical order on the shelves that they usually are, I mean, they can't stay that way forever.
Well, maybe next time do a little embassy work. Invite the grown-up inside. Curl us up with a blanket. Put a little movie on for us. Read us a piece of the comic book and say, here, I've warmed your heart. Now let me make your living room a total mess.
Now that sounds like a good strategy. Are you ready for today's poem?
Poem me up.
This one's called Reoccurring by Maggie Anderson. The potatoes dream, black smell of water deep underground. They hold each other by ragged strings and swish green headdresses in their small pools of mud. Potatoes dream their own genetics, the predictable gossip of growth, and they keep on dreaming it. The useless berries their leaves invent, the digging out, the clean uplifting, then the root cellar, one slice saved, to plant again in freezing ground.
A potato dreaming poem. Amazing. May I read it?
Of course.
Recurring by Maggie Anderson. The potatoes dream, black smell of water, deep underground. They hold each other by ragged strings and swish green headdresses in small pools of mud. Potatoes dream their own genetics, the predictable gossip of growth. And they keep on dreaming it. The useless berries their leaves invent, the digging out, the clean uplifting, then the root cellar. One slice saved to plant again in freezing ground. This is such a perfect poem for this time of year, the fall harvest time. We have a farm that we go to and we get almost 100 pounds of potatoes that we store in our root cellar. And then we go down to the basement and we pick them out to cook with all winter. So I can really appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
What is your favorite dish I make with the potatoes?
Well, I love it when you slice them all up into rings and then you fry them so they taste really good and crispy. Like French fries, but a billion times better.
Thank you. And you know my trick. Those are actually not fried. They're twice baked. I bake them as whole potatoes, so they're baked. Then I slice them. Then I bake them again in oil, so they get crispy like French fries. That's the secret of my technique.
Amazing. I will take it to my grave.
Have you noticed the last few potatoes at the bottom of the box by around February or March that we haven't gotten to yet? They start to shoot out roots.
Yeah.
They really do want to keep growing. And she says the technique. She says, listen to them. Keep it recurring. What does recurring mean?
Happening over and over again.
Yeah, you can start that cycle of life if you actually take a slice off the potato, put it underground, and a new one will grow.
It's amazing. Last segment of the show. Do you have a vexing question for me?
I do. It comes from a listener named Jane in Chicago. Her vexing question is, we're about to have a national election, but every state seems to have different rules about who can vote, when, and how. Why all the differences? Will this ever change?
Wow, that's a great question. Let me look it up, get back to you. Okay, I'm back and I've got the answer to Jane's vexing question. All our election laws start with Article 1 of the U.S. Constitution. That says, the times, places, and manner of holding elections shall be prescribed in each state, which means that each state can have their own rules about election. For a long time, state laws limited voting mainly to white men who owned land, and sometimes not even all of them. Later, laws expanded who could vote. First other white men, then African American men too, then women too, and then 18, 19, and 20-year-olds. Additional laws have made it easier for Americans who were overseas or in the military to vote, or those who spoke languages besides English or had disabilities. But it's still true that most laws about who can vote, when, and how are decided state by state. Voting isn't the only kind of law that varies by state. So do laws about guns, child custody, and business and marriage licensing, for example. That's confusing. It sometimes might even be unfair, but it is part of the Constitution.
Wow, great research. Have you ever gone with me or mom to vote? I can't remember.
No, though indeed, one of the places that you can vote is, well, at my school. So I remember about last year around voting time, they closed off the gym and there was little voting sections and stickers that said vote. And of course, I always love to have stickers.
Now, I've been voting by mail lately, but maybe one of these days we've got to go in together in person because I think we can bring you, our kid, in with us so you can see how it all works. You just have to promise not to write in your best friend for president.
We will see. You Must Know Everything was produced by me, Rasa Smith, and him, Jeremy Smith. And the amazing music was by Furniture. Learn more and submit your own vexing questions at our website, youmustknoweverything.com. Subscribe via Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or however you like to listen. Please rate, review, and share the show. And please tune in next time for everything you need to know.